Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for coming along. If you're here to listen to the podcast that's about to be recorded. Welcome back to Global Birdfair. My name is Jack. I'm the host of Pangolin, the Conservation Podcast, which is a show that celebrates underappreciated stories in nature and conservation. Gets to kind of know people who work with amazing species and projects and all sorts of amazing things. And I'm very, very excited because today I'm going to finally get to talk with somebody about one of my favorite animals that has never been featured on the show, shockingly, the lynx. And to do that, I am joined by Carmen Rueda, who works for CBD Habitat Foundation and the Lynx Connect Project. So first of all, thank you so much for joining me today, Carmen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
No, it's
a pleasure for me to talk about lynxes is my passion. So very happy to be here.
No, that's brilliant. And I'm so excited. And whenever I have someone who's so excited about one particular species, I always am like, I want to get into it and I want to know everything about them because it's my opportunity to get like a one-on-one private tuition lesson about this thing. So I'm like so excited. So excited. I guess to get us started, the best thing to do would be like, I kind of gave the very brief LinkedIn header description of your job of like what you do, but like, could you introduce yourself to the listeners, kind of tell the audience kind of a little bit about, what you do, kind of, who you are?
Yeah, sure. I'm Carmen. I'm a biologist. And since I was like very young, I knew that I wanted to do something about the species and the planet, and these kind of things. But you don't really know what. And different things brought me to the lynx, and it's amazing because when I was a child, and I remember to see on the TV like the lynx, Iberian Lynx, because we are talking about Iberian Lynx. That's yes. An important point. It's in a very high risk of extinction, and for me to work with this species is like a dream, and I get there when the first reintroductions were done. In the very early stages of the reintroductions, and I've been working there for the last 10 years, and I've seen like all the process and all the growth of these reintroduced populations, and it's very exciting, and a lot of work, but it's I feel like very proud of what has been done, not only for me but all my partners, and the CBD Habitat Foundation has been working for the lynx for the last 23 years, in partnership with the governments and the people of the land, which is very important, and I'm there on all this process, so. Yeah.
Yes.
And now I'm here. I'm very happy to be here.
Yes, you're there to get to watch all of this exciting stuff happen and learn all these things and like face all the challenges and learn all the amazing things. It's yes. And we were joking before we came up here of like, we have 20 minutes to do 20 years, and I think we'll try and do our best to do some of like pick out the highlights of that. So that's brilliant. I guess like something that like we've kind of introduced you then, I guess, of like where you are now, what you're doing. I guess then, before we move on to introduce the other main character more formally, which is, of course, the lynx, something that I guess, just to sit on for a second, is like, what was it that kind of attracted you to that? I know you said that they were kind of, obviously they're endangered and kind of you were kind of intrigued by that, but like you said, there were so many different things that made you want to work with them. What were kind of those main drivers to get into working with the lynx?
Yeah, actually it was, I was not looking for the lynx, I was looking for to do something with the species, and I at that moment that was in a Spanish region that is called Extremadura, and it's quite famous because of bird watching, and it's a very nice place to go. And I was working as a volunteer on a recovery center for wildlife species, and I was there just looking for something to do. I want to do something. I want to go with these people to the field. I want to know what are they doing. I want to help. And step by step, first of all, I was just looking for rabbits. That was my job, to look for rabbits, to find the places where the lynx can be maybe released. And that was like my first job. And I spent like a whole summer, very hot summer in Extremadura. It's very hot in summer. Just walking and doing rabbit samples and to find like the right place. And that's why I get into the lynx world, but I was not focused on that species. I was just wanted to do something about the biodiversity of my region, and I ended up there, and yeah, amazing.
That is really interesting. I think it's really fantastic as well when you kind of like have these moments where you realize actually the stuff that's round about me is really cool, really interesting, really special, and needs work done with it and for it, and so you can kind of step into that.
I know. I mean, the work is amazing, but you really have to be passionate about it because it's hard work. You know, it's a hard work, and if, I mean, you really need to feel that. Yeah, I want to do more. I want to stay there. I don't mind if I have to wake up at 4 in the morning, you know. And I was there, and I think that passion is very important on conservation because it's the driver of everything, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's, I mean, fantastic. I feel like this is fantastic messaging to be putting out, like passion, important, wonderful. And yeah, I think that's brilliant. And I got, I mean, a small taste of the waking up at 4 a.m. when the sun came up this morning and I was sleeping in a tent like 200 meters down there. So I can appreciate that, like, I've had it one day and I'm like a little delusional about where I am. So the hard work that must go in constantly day in, day out is, yeah, a lot. Well, I guess now we've talked around you and your relationship and how you found the Lynx, but we've kind of ignored for a second here the main character of this story, which is, of course, the Lynx. And so for people who maybe don't know a lot about the Iberian Lynx or lynx in general, could you give us a little introduction to the species and tell us, a little bit about what makes it unique, special? Yeah, tell us about the Lynx.
Yeah, well, you know, there are 4 species of lynxes in the world, and the Iberian lynx, I think that maybe the thing that, they are only on the Iberian Peninsula. In the past, they were around all the Iberian Peninsula, but on the early 20s, in 2002, they were only left in 2 populations, in Doñana and Sierra de Andújar in Andalusia, and there were only like 100 lynxes left. The other lynx species have a very wide distribution around the world, you know, and the Canadian lynx and the bobcats, they have a very wide range. But the Iberian lynx is only on the Iberian Peninsula, and 20 years ago there was only 2 different small populations isolated, and for example in Doñana there were only like 30 lynxes. That means like around, I don't know, 5 reproductive females. So can you imagine how? Yeah, and we went there in a very short period of time. I mean, we've lost most of the Iberian lynx populations on the 20th century, you know, very, very fast. And we just realized that we were losing it when this study was done at 2002. We thought that maybe there were, 1,000 lynxes left. And there were not 1,000. It was 100 lynxes left. And then we have to work like very quickly because we were losing the species. And this species is unique in the world. We only have them here. And they are very, very special. You know, I don't know if you know how Iberian lynx looks like, but they are handsome. They are beautiful.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's we were about to lose one of the most beautiful species that we have, and we had to work very quickly and all together. That's very important. All together, from scientists to governments to people on the land. That's very important, and with a lot of, with very few individuals, the genetic issues are also there. So we needed to mix the different populations to try to raise the genetic variability. So many factors were working there. And the rabbits.
And the rabbits.
And the rabbits.
And the rabbits. I noticed that when I was doing my research, there was a whole part of the website that I was reading all about the rabbits.
Yes.
They've clearly stuck with you since the beginning. Like,
that's the key. The rabbits are the key.
Yeah. So do you want to explain what you like? Because like we've talked about how they kind of where they are, what the challenge was generally, but how did they get to that point? A lot of that was to do with the rabbits, right? And
yeah. So I think the point. I mean, we have 2 different factors that bring us to this situation. One of them is that Iberian lynx is a very nice animal, but it's a carnivore. So for years and years, they have been killed for people. First, even legally. I mean, government pay people to kill the lynxes. Then it went protected in the 60s, but people still was killing lynxes because they kill, I don't know, hens or lambs or whatever, or even hunters just see a lynx and it's like, okay, a competitor. I don't know if that works. Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay, I mean, the lynxes disappeared in many areas because they were systematically persecuted. Also, with the rabbits, well, maybe you don't know, but there are two different diseases that affect rabbits. One is myxomatosis, and the other is the hemorrhagic disease. And that affected a lot the Iberian rabbit populations, and in many areas, even the rabbits disappeared. I know that you here in the UK have the same problem, and I read the last day that here the hemorrhagic disease affected to 95% of the rabbit population or something like that. Imagine that on the Iberian Peninsula, where our most known carnivores, not only also raptors, they feed on rabbit. So we have the Iberian lynx, but we have also the big eagles, Bonelli's eagle, Iberian imperial eagle. Many different animals feed on rabbits. So that was a crash on the ecosystem. When the rabbits went down, all these animals also disappear because they can eat other things, but they need this prey species to survive and to breed and to stay in a territory. So these two factors, mainly these two factors together, they disappear in many regions of Spain where they were abundant in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the lynxes went the same way.
Yeah, it makes perfect. If there's not the food, if there's not these kind of things, and there's that persecution, of course, it's coming at them from multiple angles.
It's difficult to be a lynx in this situation, right?
Yeah, where if there was one, maybe you could bounce back, or it wouldn't be as drastic. But when you've got both of those kind of compounding things, that's a dangerous situation to find yourself in as a lynx. And so I guess then it also provides challenges for the lynx, but it provides challenges for you. And you were saying that you have to bring together different parties to kind of talk about this and how you can fix this and how you can kind of rebalance this and kind of work on this issue. How did you kind of what do the projects that you're working on do to try and kind of turn this story around and kind of bring these animals back? Well,
first of all, I think that society in general has changed a little bit mentality. Okay, also. I think that the situation was so dangerous. They were just disappearing that all the people realized about this. They were conscious and that they were going to lose. And for example, in places where lynxes were abundant, you talk with the hunters and they say, my grandfather have a lynx on the house, and it's like, okay. But they know that there were lynxes in there. And they are not anymore. And I think that they think about this like, okay, we have done this, and do we have the right to extinct a species only because they eat rabbits? It makes no sense. And the risk was so evident that they start to work with us at the same point. Now the species is recovering, and they are. They look to the lynxes like, okay, it's an animal that is in my land and it's fine, and I see it in the morning, and they have names. That's very important to involve the people with the conservation. You have to involve them on all the actions. And for example, on the reintroductions, when we release a lynx, we invite a whole village to come that day to see the lynx coming out of the cage, and that lynx has a name, and we like to talk about this concrete animal that you have there, and who is there, who is him, and where it comes from, and how is he doing. And if he, for example, imagine that he, I don't know, at the end he is killed on the road by a car, we want to talk about this too, and we want people to know. And do you remember the male that we released 60 months ago? Now he is dead because a car killed him here, especially here. So if you go there, be careful. You have to talk a lot with the people, and they get into with you, because it's very exciting to see how they do. And the stories, I love the stories of the lynxes. Each lynx has a name. We have all the lynxes, Iberian lynxes, have a name, and we know everything about them, and that's very important to involve the people on its conservation too.
And I think it's something that we sometimes take for granted, especially in spaces like this, right, where we are all here because we love a certain thing and we kind of want to work around a certain thing. And we have been lucky enough, a lot of us, to have these opportunities to go into nature and see these things and have these moments where we are exposed to beautiful birds or wildlife or lynx or whatever it is. But like a lot of people don't have that opportunity and has not been in their consciousness, and they've not kind of, and so by bringing them and forming these connections and giving that opportunity, not just to kind of connect with the lynx, but also maybe find that spark that maybe they don't connect instantly with the lynx, but they go home and they think about other aspects of nature, or they start to appreciate other things. That's a really nice way of kind of starting these discussions through a very charismatic, interesting, wonderful creature. That's really fantastic. That's really, really fantastic.
Yeah, when we bring people to the field, I mean, for example, with the kids or whatever, yeah, we are looking for the lynx, but on the way, we are talking about many other things. Yeah. We are talking about the birds, and we are talking about the rabbits, and we are talking about the vegetation, and we are talking about the landscape. And at the end, maybe if we are lucky, we can see a lynx. Yeah. But that's like the, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's fantastic. That is brilliant. And like, I guess then looking a little bit forward, like what are some of the projects you're working on now, and kind of looking forward to things that maybe you'd be kind of excited about coming up in the next little while that you're working on?
Yeah, well, the last 20 years have been like this race to save the species. Yeah. And now I don't know if you know it, but the species was critically endangered at the end of 20 years ago, and recently has passed to vulnerable. We have more than 2,000 lynxes on the wild right now between Portugal and Spain. So we are happy with this, but we are conscious that we have to keep on working, that the work is not finished. The 2,000 individuals are not too much.
No.
and we have a lot of land that is still not colonized by lynxes. So now we have like a challenge, because the fundings have to keep coming, but the species is not so endangered. But the species is expanding, and it's expanding to areas where we still didn't have time to work in. So the people there, we don't know how they are going to react. We don't know which are the dangerous points for the lynxes in there. There are non-prospected areas, you know. And the lynxes are gonna be not alone, because we will be there, but it's more difficult to monitor each individual, so focus on this as in the past. I mean, I remember when I started the first year, we released 8 lynxes, and we were 4 people. So we have 2 lynxes for 1 people. And so every day I check my 2 lynxes, and they were very monitored, and we had a lot of time to talk with the people of the lands and to go to the villages and talk to everybody. And now there are much more lynxes and less people working on this. So let's see how we can manage this new situation. But it's exciting because you see that there is a video on social media that, someone saw an Iberian Lynx on, I don't know, Aragon, for example, which is in the north. And it's like, they reached there already, you know, and they are reaching different areas, and they are doing themselves. They don't need our help, actually, but it's good to be there because, especially because you talk with the people, and people that don't live with the lynxes, I mean, people that already live with them, they know that they are not dangerous, that they are fine, and it's beautiful to see them on the field, and everything's fine. But on the new areas, they have to get to this point, and that's the challenge now.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It must be like that thing of after 20 years, if you'd been raising a child, they'd be going away to university and finding their independence. Now your lynxes are doing the same. They've reached the age where they're going off and they're doing their own things. They're going to new places, exploring new things.
Now we are more on the distance, you know, looking what are they doing. At the beginning, we were interventing a lot of management, but we cannot keep on that because that's a lot of investment and a lot of personnel. And now it's more like, okay, let's see what they do. Yeah. We keep an eye on you, but now you start to walk alone.
Yes, it's up to you now. Yes.
Yes.
That's so exciting. I think it's actually reaching a perfect point for the timing we kind of have, because we only have, unfortunately, about another 5 minutes left.
Yeah. Well.
And so I think we've done a good job condensing that story. But yes, at some point, I feel like you're going to be getting an email from me being like, do you want to come on the podcast for a longer episode and talk about this at some point? Because I feel like there's so much more to dig into. But at this point, I think what we can kind of move on to is we've talked about the Lynx and we've kind of left it there with quite a hopeful, nice kind of message. And I think there's these questions that I've been asking all of my guests at Birdfair, and just some quick fire questions to kind of wrap up, get your thoughts on. And so the first of those is, if someone's been listening to this and is feeling inspired and wants to do something or wants to kind of get involved in conservation, what would be your top piece of advice for them?
Well, if you want to do something, you can. The first thing I want to say is that, I mean, if you want to go to, I don't know, South America or Africa, wherever, you can do it. But you can do it also from your yard, from your house. And that's very important. It's a change of mentality and think, I don't know, I can do like small things on my day. And that's I think that's even the most important thing. And then if you have time and if you want, you can, I mean, there are lots of projects around the world with a very good organizations that are doing a great job. And if you just look for them, you will find them. And we are, I mean, we want to receive people to help, you know. We are looking for people to come, in this case to Spain, but if you go to around the world, there are a lot of organizations working on this. And I would say local organizations are very important as well. So if you can do it something on your town, but there's people in other towns on the world working on amazing projects. You can just contact them and say, I want to do something. What can I do? And they will tell you.
Yes, that's a brilliant piece of advice, I think. Brilliant. The second quickfire question I have for you is, because usually the podcast is about underappreciated things, and usually I say, what is your favorite underappreciated species? But for Birdfair, what is your favorite underappreciated bird?
Okay.
Tell me.
I really like nocturnal birds of prey. I love them, and I would say my favorite is the long-eared owl.
Yeah,
I love
beautiful.
them.
Yeah.
I have a couple on my yard, and every year I see like the chicks, and I love them.
I think that's a brilliant one and a good reason for local connections. If you've had them in your yard, then they are.
That's why it's like, hi, morning.
I think that's the thing. Yeah, every morning when I visit my parents, my dad will sit and just have conversations with the blue tits and stuff that turn up in his garden. Like that, those local things are so important. And then I guess the final thing to ask is, if there is if people have been listening and are intrigued by your work and learning more, where would you direct them to learn more about the Lynx projects?
Well, I would say go to the CBD Habitat Foundation website or social media. They have amazing projects, not only with the Lynx. If you want to know about the Lynx, it's fine. You can find there all the information and updates and things. But they work with other species and in other parts of Spain and in Africa as well. And just have a look there, and you will find information. So CBD Habitat Foundation. .com or whatever.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. No, that's brilliant. And while everyone is on social media and on all of these places looking at these websites, if you're online anyway, you can follow Pangolin the Conservation Podcast at Pangolin Podcast on all social medias, and we're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and everywhere. So go and follow all of those things. Have a listen to other episodes and go and check us out there as well. And with that, and that shocking bit of self-promo I've put in at the end there, just because I have an audience here, so I might as well. Thank you so much for joining me today, Carmen. It's been fantastic. I've loved every minute of our conversation. I am so inspired, and yes, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you. And yes, thank you everybody else who is listening, whether that be online or here. Talk to you all soon. I'll be here all day. Come and say hi and ask me any questions and all sorts of things. And yes, there'll be another podcast starting in just a few minutes on this stage. So thank you so much. Thank you.